What is happening, baby? Welcome back to the Huddle Chat Sports Network's very own fantasy football huddle. Presented as always by DanklyfeBrand, Let's Talk Sports, and Shank It Golf Brand. Shouts out to everybody that's helped us get over 100 subscribers here on the new channel. If you're new to the new YouTube channel, make sure you check down below. Hit that subscriptions bell as well as that notifications bell so you can always stay notified on when new episodes are coming out. Just like this week's episode that we're doing right now, the Week 5 stardoms and situms. We've already released our Week 5 players that you should pick up off the waiver wire with flex appeal. If you haven't already set your waivers and you missed that waiver opportunity, maybe some of those players are still out there on the free agent list. I know a couple of the ones I talked about last night were available in some of my leagues, and I was able to scoop them up for free this morning. But enough about the waiver wires. If you wanted to know about that, you would click on the waiver wire episode we did yesterday, and you can still do that down below. However, we're talking about the Week 5 waiver wires, and I got to give a big shout out to this comment that we got last week that was asking us to cover more players. And I try to be efficient and give y'all as much content as I can in as little time as possible, because we don't want to waste your time. And eventually we're going to start getting into more ways that we can provide you every single matchup and every single player without wasting your time for those who want to subscribe to a newsletter or something like that. But that's future plans. Right now, we're going to be discussing more players than we ever have and trying a new format here for the Week 5 stardoms and situms. So fill up your cup, roll something up, and let's get right into this blazing, action-packed Week 5 waiver wire stardoms and situms. It's not the waiver wire, it's the stardoms and situms that we're doing this week. And like I said, we're doing some new stuff. So thanks so much to you for commenting below and getting us to try out this new format. Hopefully we can make you happy and get you the information that you desire as well. And always, you can check out our live episode on Sundays that we do 9:30 Mountain Standard Time, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. But without further ado, let's start with the quarterbacks like we always like to start here on the stardoms and situms. We're going to be starting talking about to start CJ Stroud against Atlanta. I mean, at this point, we really don't need to argue for CJ Stroud. He's the only player in the NFL to have 300 yards passing in each of his first 4 games. No interceptions. The man's been playing well despite missing 4 to 5 offensive linemen in every single football game so far this year. He's had 3 straight weeks over 20 points per game. Like I said, no interceptions thrown. He's been quarterback 5 over the last 3 weeks. And if he's available, you should add him to your roster. And if you have him, play him. It's that simple. He's playing the Atlanta Falcons. They're a weak defense. We're talking about Jordan Love next, starting him as well. The last 2 weeks have not been the best for the lover boy, but Green Bay has been down early, forcing them to get into their passing game and get into that negative game script a lot earlier than they would like. However, Jordan Love has done what he can to get the Green Bay Packers down the field, and he's been doing it even with his legs, which he's not really known as a running quarterback. He's gotten into the end zone as a runner in both of the last 2 games, despite struggling. He is playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who are allowing 20.3 points per game over the first 4 games this season, and Jordan Love is averaging 21 points per game, so that fits right there into his average. Expect a high floor from Jordan Love this week. We're also going to be starting Tua Tagovailoa against the New York Giants. He's facing a terrible New York Giants defense. They allowed 20 plus points to Brock Purdy and 20 plus points to Josh Dobbs. It's an easy top 10 week for Tua Tagovailoa. We really don't need to spend much time talking about him. I'm also really looking to start Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff this week. Kirk Cousins against Kansas City, Jared Goff against Carolina. Both have been putting up really good numbers at home, and both are playing at home this week, and both have really good matchups as well. I'm starting both Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff and looking for them to continue this home streak that they've had going for their last 11 straight home games for each of them going into last season as well. I'm also going to be starting Matt Stafford from Philadelphia. Philadelphia is allowing 6th most fantasy points per game two quarterbacks. He's also potentially getting Cooper Kupp back this week. Have not been confirmed whether that's true or not, but you look at what they've been doing with Puka Nacua, with the replacement options that they've had, and the Rams offense has been surprisingly really good, and Matt Stafford has looked healthy. I'm starting him this week. A couple of extra starts that you can throw in this week. Looking at Justin Fields and Sam Howell, both are starting options on Thursday Night Football. I expect this game to be very valuable for both quarterbacks, and both quarterbacks to have high floors and really not disappoint you this week. And then you can also throw Josh Dobbs in there as well. He's been surprisingly good. The Cardinals offense has been surprisingly good, and they're playing a surprisingly bad Cincinnati Bengals defense. Moving on to the quarterback sits of the week. Sit of the week at quarterback is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow against the Cardinals. He's been awful. He's been hurt, and he's been downright untrustworthy. Until I see something different, or until he takes a break and lets this injury heal, I don't know if Joe Burrow is going to be seeing my stardom list for a while. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm also going to be sitting Trevor Lawrence against the Buffalo Bills. He has not lived up to expectations so far this season as far as fantasy points per game are concerned. And he's playing Buffalo. Buffalo has been the best defense in the league this season against opposing quarterbacks. It's not a great matchup for Trevor Lawrence. There has to be a better option. I named about 7 or 8 of them just a moment ago. I'm also going to be sitting both Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy in that Cowboys-Niners matchup. Looks to be a defensive game. Both defenses have been stingy against the quarterbacks. There's got to be a better option than Dak or Brock Purdy if you have either one of them in your lineup. Last sitting quarterback we're doing this week is going to be Derek Carr versus New England. He straight up has been terrible this season. New England has been absolutely rough on opposing quarterbacks, and look for a heavy run game involvement from the New Orleans Saints this week, getting Alvin Kamara back and really trying to get their legs back under them. No pun intended. Moving on to the tight ends, we're going to kind of breeze through them because tight ends are a dumpster fire, and it's really hard to go into depth on the tight end position because even the most reliable tight ends have not been reliable. But I got 4 starters for you. Looking at Tyler Higbee versus the Philadelphia Eagles, Darren Waller versus the Miami Dolphins, Dallas Goedert versus the Rams. I love all of their matchups. I love all of the momentum that each of them have coming into this game. And we'll definitely start them with confidence. And in a deeper league, deeper option, Dalton Kincaid against the Jaguars in London is definitely a really tantalizing option to put into your lineup. I will be sitting Cole Kmet versus Washington. Last week was bait. I'm sitting Kyle Pitts, like I've told you guys for weeks, until he does something. I'm sitting Hunter Henry. He's been surprisingly the best wide tight end in the fucking league this season so far. But I don't think that continues against New Orleans. New Orleans is a terrible matchup for tight ends. And I'm also sitting Chig Okonkwo versus the Indianapolis Colts. That's going to do it for the new, improved, and revamped stardoms and situms. So keep your chin up and your attitude down. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.